What up? What up? Appreciate everyone in here. Welcome to the Ropp Star Report. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. We're about to dive into some critical moments for the Carolina Panthers. And we're going to talk about this. This is just my final breakdown of this draft. This is what it's going to be, right? This is a critical draft for us, and we've got decisions to make. We've got to get it right, but the question is, will we get it right? Right? Like, that is a good question. Like, will we get this right? Also tonight, my final mock draft, and there's also reports out there that the Carolina Panthers are really like Jalen Walker, but are still drooling over Michael Williams. So we're really going to dive into that. So we're really going to dive deep into. I think this is one of the most pivotal drafts of the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to give you my final mock draft tonight as well. We're also going to talk about maybe a interesting trade that I saw for the Carolina Panthers. Jameson Williams. And our quarterback, Bryce Young, knows Mr. Jameson Williams all too well. So we're going to dive into that to do. But good evening, Panthers fans, and welcome to my live breakdown of this final pre-draft preview. Again, we're going to dive deep into this. This is one of the most pivotal drafts of the Carolina Panthers. This is the moment that can shape your franchise for years to come, And number one overall pick, Dan Morgan has a weight of a fan base on his shoulders. So we got to get serious. There's no more excuses. In this stream, we're going to be talking about, again, we talked about the biggest needs last night, but I'm going to go through more. I'm going to go through with the targets, right? I'm going to really dive into these targets of people that we should really look at day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 3 targets. All right. We're going to dive into that. So that's what we're going to get into. We got lots of stuff to talk about, man. The draft is literally right around the corner. Literally 2 days away. So we've got a lot to talk about, man. What's up, James Island? Appreciate you joining. Been a minute since I caught you live. Zach Taylor, what's good? Errol Locklear, but hit that like button on the way in. Appreciate you, Earl. He seen Panthers trade Adam to the Eagles. I have seen that. The only way I'm trading Adam Thielen to the Eagles is unless they are giving me Jahan Dotson and at least a 6th-round pick. At least a 6th-round pick. All right. James Allen said, check your Venmo. Let me see here. No way. You didn't do that. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that, James Island. You really didn't, man. Really, thank you, James Allen. I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you, James. Shout out to James, man. Shout out to freaking James, man. Appreciate you, James. I really appreciate that. It goes a long way, bro. Just that little bit goes a long way. Just that little bit. So I really appreciate that, James. You didn't have to do that, brother. That's why I say if you're feeling generous. It's not that it's not like I'm begging you guys for it, but hey, you do it. I appreciate that. So thank you. Thank you. Check the Venmo. James Allen knows what's up, man. James Allen knows what's up. He knows that YouTube takes like 70% of my profit away from me. Takes 70% of anything I make. I only get 30%. So it's crazy. Yeah, I don't like that trade. Yeah, I don't like the trade either, Earl. It doesn't really make sense. I seen a rumor that we could possibly trade up with the Giants. Hey, then that's been a rumor as well. There's a bunch of rumors out there, man. It's going to be constant rumors until we really see what actually happens. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give you my final mock draft tonight as well, but we're going to use PFF tonight. We might even just do the final mock draft as I'm going through these through these. But really, I really want to go through just the big board. We might just use PFF big board and kind of go through these. So first things first, that's what we're going to dive into. Is really where we can see where we want to go in day one, day two. So so I guess I might use the mock draft simulator, to be honest with you. Just because it'll be no crap, I gotta go back. 7 rounds, enter. Okay. Let me present this. James Allen again, appreciate you, man, doing that. That's insane, man. Shout out to you, brother. Whenever I get my merch, any of my members or anybody who ever sends me a Venmo, because I can see who sent me a Venmo passed on here or a Cash App or something like that. Whenever I get my merch together, you guys, whoever are members, are getting a free piece of merch. I'm working on the merch still, man. I'm very particular about this merch. All right, so let's dive into this. Okay, so we're talking about this. We're really going to be breaking down this big board. Okay, Carolina's big board is very interesting. Okay, if we go into their big board in here, you can go in there and it'll give you the guys like so. Here, I'll show you with the big board what you could do. Let's say you go to this big board, you go team needs. You go to Carolina, it's going to give you all the guys that PFF think that Carolina could use in some way, shape, or form, right? And of course their rankings. Okay, so that's the big board. But we're going to use the simulator. Maybe we might just kill 2 birds with 1 stone, going over the big board and of course everything. So we might just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. All right, let's start it up. Cam Ward, that's not happening. Okay. I really don't like this one. PFF has just been killing me lately with their thing. I honestly might just use the big board. Because that shit ain't happening. Travis, I'm dead ass serious. Hold on. This is what I'm gonna do. I'll just pick somebody random for the other ones. All right. All right, so this is how this board is gonna fall. It's gonna go Cam, Travis. I think it's Abdul Carter. I think that they're gonna go Will Campbell. I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go Mason Graham. I think they go Ashton Genty, and I think they go Armit Mabu. That's just me. That's just me. That's the way I see that board fall. This board falling. Why that we have 18 trades is beyond me. Wow. Okay. So we have, when we look at our picks, we got 57. We got that 57 from the Rams last year. 74. We got 111, 114. We got from the Cowboys. We got 140, 146, 163, 146 from the Giants, 163 from the Ravens, and then the 230 from the Cardinals. All right. Day one targets for me. Okay. When we're looking at this board, okay, day one targets for me as of right now, and it's very simple, very easy. Number one, it's Jalen Walker. Okay. Again, I said it before, say it again. I think Jahad Campbell's better. That's me personally, but I don't see them taking Jahad Campbell. But I do see them taking a guy like Jalen Walker the way they're hyping him up right now. Now the Panthers are trying to outsmart the room by skipping his workout. It's a weak bluff for me. I think Walker is an explosive freak. I do think he is a freak athlete. Don't get me wrong. And I do think he's explosive. I just think Jahad is more. Me personally. Nothing against he's a local kid. Right down the street, Salisbury, North Carolina. Again, he's not perfect, but he's a menace off the edge. I think he would immediately boost our pass rush. That's been sputtering. Again, I see his ceiling as an edge rusher like Hassan Reddick. I also see his upside also as a Frankie Louvu as a Mike linebacker. Okay. So when he lines up in the middle. Okay. But he would definitely be an immediate boost, ladies and gentlemen, in this pass rush. Okay. So I see it that way. Okay. When I go back now, like some other guys that I've seen, if we go over here, like towards, let me find him. Now I know that people will riot down the street if Carolina goes after this guy. Again, the guy who's got measurables, great run defender, run stoppers 5.5%, but got a 12.4% pass rush win rate. Only 2 sacks. Again, a lot of hurries there, 33 hurries. You see it. A lot of measurables like Myles Garrett. Production, not even close. Okay. Shamar Stewart, he has the look of a world beater. And he does. But he plays like a maybe. I get it. He's raw. That's just putting it generously for me. Like I again. Do you think this Walker Love is as a smokescreen? I could possibly see it being one. Reason why I could see it being one is I could see it. They're trying to smoke screen for a team like Jacksonville, who always reaches for guys, who always surprisingly takes someone out of the left field, like the Trayvon Walker trade or not trade, but the pick, which it's worked out for them though. I mean, he had a career high last year of 10 sacks. He's doing well. But do I think they're trying to pull smoke screen? Yeah, I think they are. I think they're hoping that maybe a team, which the Patriots have been known to have interest in Walker. The Saints have interest in Walker. But I think also the Jags have interest in him, and I've heard that maybe the Jags could be a team that they're trying to smoke screen. It's almost like how the Texans did us with CJ Stroud. Didn't like his IQ test. But then they ended up going and getting him, which made Carolina go after Bryce Young. I mean, we went Bryce Young, but then they went and got CJ Stroud, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see them pulling some smoke screens. I really want Mike Green, but his off the field issues kind of concern me. I don't know how to feel about him. Zach, I mean, my number one guy, if we're going edge rusher and we're going based off production, it's Mike Green all day. The off the field issues, we can move on from those. We can grow up from it. You learn from your mistakes, and we all move on, brother. We all move on. He did get out of all those issues. So again, for me, Mike Green, it's Mike. I'd rather have Mike Green than Jalen Walker. That's just me personally. All right. Another one, day one guy. We're gonna talk. I mean, it's definitely Jalen Walker's counterpart, and that is if I can't even find him. Let me see. Michael Williams. Michael Williams has fallen like crazy, by the way. He's now ranked 38th. If you cannot see it, he's ranked 38th on PFF now. The thing is with Michael Williams is I'll say this. Great frame, okay production, slower recovery from injuries. That's how he is. I think he's a reach at 8. But if we were in the 15 to 17 range, again, an intriguing mid to late first rounder if we decide to move back. Sure. Okay. Now, if we're talking about defensive tackles, I mean, this is very easy for me. Well, I would say Mason Graham, but I think that's where Mason Graham would fall. I think Mason Graham, forget the box score. I think Graham is a bulldozer with 3 down upside, even with the Wharton and Brown signings. This kid is too good to pass on if he's there at 8. He's a plug and play guy. All right. I think Walter Nolan is getting very slept on. I think he's just as good, if not better, than Mason Graham. I think his size is better than Mason Graham's, but I'm not holding Mason Graham's size against him. Okay. Because you can go watch the tape and tell that for yourself. All right. This guy, I think, is a plug and play as well. He's also a 3 down upside bulldozer as well. All right. So I'm all about him. Okay. I'm all about me some Walter Nolan. Now, another one, day one guy for me is also that we could take a look at. Possibly if he's there. Let me see. Is Nick Amanawari. I'm surprised that PFF has moved him back up into the late 3rd round. They've got him at 67. I don't think we're going to spend our number 8 pick on a safety. Thank God. But if they trade down, I think Nick Amanawari is in the conversation. Versatile, rangy, mean as hell in the box. Perfect fit for what we're looking for. All right, wide receivers. I know how much y'all love this guy. A lot of people love T-Mac. I'm not a big T-Mac fan. I just don't think he fits the mold. Me personally, I think he's got separation issues. Big body, nice hands, but separation issues. He can't create space. He can't create space very well. And if you can't create space in the NFL, he's just a statue with a helmet. And then he ends up just being a jump ball merchant. Now, granted, you have a head coach that worked with Mike Evans who could possibly maybe turn this guy into a Mike Evans 2.0, because that's what a lot of comparisons he's getting to. It's a possibility, but I think a better fit is Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka is a plug and play ready wide receiver now. Matthew Golden, I think, is a better fit. You need that speed. You need the speed to bird. You need that speed to open up that offense. All right. If you really want to get some action, you got to get some actual weapons for Bryce. And the biggest thing is open up the middle field for Bryce and also creating separation. So I think Golden should be a top day 1, but I could also see Golden where he falls early to day 2 target. All right, for Matthew Golden as well. I think it's between T-Mac and then again, I would say Matthew Golden is another guy that we could end up getting. I mean, you're going with a speedster here, right? Great contested catch rate, by the way, too. Who can go up and get it? I really want my green. Yeah. My green is a better pass rush for sure. Michael Williams lacks wasn't that you need to be impacted. Yep. Don't sleep on Barron. Definitely haven't slept on him. Campbell is stuck, or linebacker Campbell is stuck at number 8. Listen, man, Paul, I've been on this show or on this show multiple times, and I have told the audience multiple times that Jihad Campbell is better than Jalen Walker. And he's the same type of player. If you watch his tape, and I've broken his tape down on here, he's the same type of player and more explosive. Just me personally. But, you know. Sup, Clay? I'm starting to like Shamar Stewart or David Walker late, or the edge from Ohio State, JT. What's your take on Shamar? Again, for me, Shamar, if you have a chance to get Shamar Stewart, somehow Shamar Stewart falls to the second round. And for example, let's just say we trade back and you see a guy with that raw athleticism and talent, and you can get him in the second round, even though he's projected to be a first round pick. I don't know how far Shamar is going to fall. I don't know if he's going to end up being a first round pick, but if he falls, I think Carolina should target him as maybe their second edge rusher. Just because of the raw talent upside. If you get your Mike Green in the first, and let's say you traded back and you were able to get Mike Green in the first, and then you go and get, your wide receiver in the second, but you also have an extra second round pick, and Shamar Stewart's there at like 57. Let's say you got your wide receiver at 43 because you traded back with whoever's at 43. I think it's Miami who has the 43rd pick in the second round. Let's say you trade with Miami. You could make the case to go get Shamar Stewart at 57. That's just me. You're not taking a huge gamble at Shamar Stewart in the second round. The value's there. He does have a high ceiling. It's just you're going based off his measurables and raw athleticism that he's going to have to develop into being a true pass rusher. And you're hoping with the measurables of Myles Garrett that can come to fruition, right? So, been telling people about Jihad. Yeah, I've been telling them about it too. Been telling them about it too. All right, let's get into some other day one guys because we still got a full list here, man. Let's get into tight ends real quick. You got Tyler Warren, 6'5", 256, doesn't move like Frankenstein monster. This guy is a unicorn with potential, in my opinion, but the value probably makes more sense on day two. Well, also another one I do like is Colston Loveland. Polished, tough, probably won't last past the second round, though. I could see someone like the Indianapolis Colts taking him there. Now, offensive tackles. These are day one guys that we could possibly target. Will Campbell is a guy. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that we're going to go after a tackle. I don't see it. But again, we're talking about day one guys that we could get. If you want to replace Ike Ekwonu, Will Campbell's your guy. Plug and play, no brainer. Pick if they want someone who can anchor the line for a decade. Another one again is the pick that I had for the Jets. Armand Mabu, young as hell, strong as hell, mean as hell. If he can clean up his footwork, he could be Moton's successor. All right. Me personally, though, as we're going through this, I just think that Carolina is best to go with a guy like Mike Green. I think I would like to trade back and go somewhere around where this is. I think that your strength in this draft, like we're the strongest. I think your strength in this first round draft is between that 15 and 17. I think that's a good position to be in. Denver's been interested in trading up. There's been rumors of that. Pittsburgh's been interested in trading up. There's been rumors of that. And also the Los Angeles Rams have had interest of moving up. But I think if this is how the board falls, you're looking at either T-Mac, Walter Nolan, Mike Green, or Jihad Barron, in my opinion. It would be between those four guys. What's up, Clay? Sorry I'm late. Jesse, you're good, brother. I appreciate you. You are all good. Mike Green, 8th. Shamar or David later. What we would be solid for sure. I think though, for me personally, if I'm picking and I'm general manager Dan Morgan, I mean, me personally, I think trading back is the smart move. I've said it before and I said again. I just think that even though I want to get a Mike Green or I want to get a Walls Nolan or I want to get a T Mac, I just think that Carolina has too many holes to just sit there and sit there at 8. And you don't pick again. You got to think about it this way. You're picking at 8. It's not like after the second going into the second round, you're picking at 8 and then 36 or 32, or something like that. You're picking at 57. It's hard for me to sit there and say, well, let's sit there and wait 39 more picks. That's hard. That's hard for me to say that we should just sit there. I think you need to make a trade here. And I think it would be like the smart move would be trade with Dallas and go 12, 4, and 8. I'll just throw in a future. They don't want that. I think 12, 4, and 12 and 44 is a good move. Because at least then because you got to think about it this way. In the top 50, now you can't expect to pick many players in the top 50. We've only got one player technically in the top 50. This way we have 2 players in the top 50. I think another trade is interesting to me is the Denver Broncos because I think you could go 20 this. I think you could go 51 and 122. And I would also offer them like a future 7th. Or possibly like maybe the Dallas pick at 114, but they don't want to do that. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. But again, so I mean, I gave you all my day one guys. Now let's go ahead and get into this draft. Let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do here. This is how we're going to break it down tonight. We're going to go each round. I'm going to give you my guys, then we'll make the picks. So I gave you my guys. Mason Graham's off the board. Both of the Will Campbell, Armand Maybu's off the board, and Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter. All right. So basically, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys I mentioned on day one. Me personally, if this is how the board falls, but I've got 18 people calling. I mean, I'm taking the best offer available. But Mike Green is sitting there at 10. I think I could trade back with Dallas. I think 12 and this is reasonable. I think this is a reasonable trade here, 12 and 44. And possibly I think I could still get Mike Green at 12. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, I feel like they're gonna go Jalen Walker here. The team that might go Mike Green here is San Francisco. But they could also be looking at getting a tackle. Let's see here. Unless you guys think that, me personally, I like this trade here. I saw this trade the other day. I saw this. This was the trade I saw the other day from Pittsburgh. It was something like that. Something wild. I also saw a trade that was interesting, which was Actually, it's a team that's not even interested. But I like the Dallas trade here. I think this is a reasonable trade. And I'll offer it. Okay, perfect. So they'll take T-Mac, Warren. Okay, so Calvin Banks worked out. Yeah, so this is where yeah, 40 through 100 is, and you got three picks there, basically. So I'm gonna go Mike Green. I think Mike Green is the move there. And that's one of my day one guys. And I think he's the best production edge rusher um besides Abdul Carter. Now, I mean, we're gonna get into day two. Let's see here. Kevin Banks Jr. does make sense for them. Tyler Warren to Chicago. They might. I don't see that happening. They got Cole Kmet. I can see the Saints trying to find their next Michael Thomas in that. I could see that. All right, let's continue to go down here. All right, so I am picking for the Browns. They need a quarterback. I don't think they're going to take Jalen Milroe. I'm just picking somebody random for him. Let me see what else they need got here. They need a tackle. You can see that too. Okay, and what corners do they got? I could also see that. All right, so yeah, we'll just go Trey Amos for them. They need a tackle, so we'll get them Josh Conley. They need an edge rusher. We'll give them we'll get them James Pierce. I'm just picking random people here for these teams. Okay. Jets. There you go. Take that guy. There you go. Okay. All right. So here's the 44. Here, so we're at 44. And this is just again, this is where I think now. I don't know if he went off the board. So Donovan Ezeruku is going in the first round in most PFF mock drafts. I could see Donovan Ezeruku actually ended up being a day two target. I do. I think he could end up falling into the second round. Like, I know he had 16 and a half sacks. I know it only says 14 sacks there, but he actually, if you go look it up, had 16 and a half sacks last season. I mean, if he's still on the board, I don't think you sprint the damn card in, right? I think James Pierce Jr. is another guy. Like, even though I took him down here, I think I gave him to Tennessee. I think, again, James Pierce Jr. is a local kid, freakish burst, but red flags and maturity, coachability. Kind of same thing with Mike Green. Is he worth the drama? The only thing I have a problem is, besides the off the field issues with James Pierce Jr., is his arm length. His arm length is below average. All right. Some other guys on here like Landon Jackson. I do like. I think Landon Jackson out of Arkansas is an interesting guy. JT, from the edge standpoint, where's he at? I thought I just saw him. JT Tuimalalu is a guy that's also very interesting. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's got very good production, great pass rushing grade, run defense, 12.1% pass rushing, true pass rush set, run stopper as well. I like everything about JT right here. Another one is from the edge standpoint. I think Jordan Birch is another guy you could get day 2, even though I know PFF has him all the way up there, but he could end up being a guy that you probably could go after. All these guys that I'm mentioning right now are all capable. I wouldn't say all these guys are dominant. I think these guys are better at rotational guys to start, but they can end up being those dominant guys. I think another guy that I'm a huge fan of also is Princely, Umana Million, and also Braden Swinson. I'm high on both of these guys right here, especially with Braden Swinson. When PFF has you at a 22.1% win rate at a pass rush, you're getting after the quarterback. And especially with 43 hurries, it's crazy. With only 9 sacks, that's crazy. That's crazy. Let me get to some of these comments here real quick. I think there will be a trade between Seattle and Pittsburgh exchanging round pick Seattle. Send Sam Howell to the Steelers as he's officially on the trade block. Interesting, Paul. That is interesting. I did not know that Sam Howell was on the trade block from Seattle. That's interesting. Very interesting. Carson Schwarzenegger, or DB at 44, wide receiver at 57, sorry. Nick Amanawari, I don't know if he's still there. No, he already went to the Bears. Dude, if we can get Ezaruka in the second round, that would be insane. It would. I do think he could fall, though. The depth at edge in day 2 makes me less worried about whether the Panthers go offense or not. Fair, Zach. Fair. Oh, well, there you go. I knew you were talking about, though, McMillan. I know who you were talking about. Now, so those are my edges in day 2. My safeties, I've heard rumors that Malachi Starks could end up falling to day 2. He's a dual all defensive back, probably, and I've heard that he could end up falling to like the mid-second round. I don't know if that's true. I just don't see a lot of teams going after the safety position in the first round. Even for Nick or Malachi Starks, I just don't see it. I don't because the safety value has gone downhill in the NFL. We've talked about it plenty of times on this show, right? But I can see Malachi Starks falling just like Nick Amanawari did here too. So I can see them both falling. Some other guys for me though, Kevin Winston, torn ACL. I mean, this guy was actually a true first round pick at one point. Dropped his stock when he tore that ACL. He was a borderline first round before the injury. So, another one for me is, where did he go? Xavier Watts, 13 interceptions over. I think he's had 13 interceptions over 2 years. So you're talking about a ball hawk. He's a perfect fit of what we're looking for here. The guy's got that guy. That's not just instincts when you have 13 interceptions over 2 years, man. You're talking about a guy who's clearly putting on production out there. All right. So another thing, cornerbacks in the second day 2. Maxwell Hairston, I'm a huge fan of. lightning fast, obviously. Fantastic instincts. Could be a diamond in the rough for me. Darian Porter also. I think you're talking about a guy who's long, 6'4", 200, physical, raw. Could be someone the Panthers could mold him with. When we're looking at linebackers in day 2 for me, Carson Schwarzenegger, man. You're talking about an All-American, 136 tackles, 2 interceptions, total stud. Luke Kuechly light, maybe worth finding out, possibly. Demetrius Knight. I mean, 25. I know he's older. It does turn people away, but you're talking about a guy who, I mean, you're talking about a guy with production. You're talking about a guy who can tackle, doesn't miss a lot of tackles, obviously. I'm all about some Demetrius Knight. Now, receivers. You got Jalen Royals, who's built, to me, he's built like, dang, almost like DJ Moore, to be honest with you. This is a guy who comes on the field and plays like he hates your family. He's a must watch. Another guy I like too, of course, is Jalen Knoll. Electric. You watch his tape, could be the steal of the second round, in my opinion. Trey Harris. I don't want to go after another Ole Miss wide receiver. I'll be honest with you. We've tried it once. It didn't work out. We tried an LSU receiver. Didn't work out. I think also a guy that Carolina could target, even though I took him earlier just because I wanted to get through those guys. Jack Betch. I mean, he's solid depth. Again, I think when you look at Trey Harris or you're looking at Jack Betch, I think they're solid depth pieces with some upside on day 2. That's the way I look at those guys. That's just me personally. That is just me personally. Well, if they want a full-time pass rusher at 8, Paul, it's Mike Green. Plain and simple. Even though he played at Marshall, there's only one tape that tells you that guy could be your day 1 starting edge rusher. And again, I'll tell you all that guys this again. Go watch his Ohio State game. Zach, if Emeka Egbuka falls around 2, the Panthers find a way to get him, I'd be so happy. I like Jordan Hancock at corner. That guy was great all year, him and Burke. What about Corey Simon, linebacker Slater? Could be a 6th round guy you could get in the 5th round. Honestly, McMillan, Corey Simons. Clay, if Egbuka is still there round 2, would you take him or Jalen Knoll? Oh, I'm taking Emeka Egbuka all day. All right, so we're at 44. Let me see. Is there any other positions I want to talk about day 2? Oh, tight end. Tight end could be a day 2 pick. You got guys like Mason Graham, NFL bloodlines, sticky hands, reliable as hell. Another guy, Terrence Ferguson, first down machine, great hands, sneaky physical. And then Harold Fannin Jr., over 117 catches, over 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns. That's from a tight end. So that's pretty damn serious. That is pretty damn serious. And he did it against Penn State. He did it against A&M. I know he played at a smaller school, but he's doing it against 2 big-time schools in 2 big-time conferences. So the guy can play. A couple of other some other guys I want to talk about here. Offensive tackle, I think that's another position that Carolina possibly could look at. You might be looking at finding someone to be that successor um Taylor Moton. A guy, Ariante Ursuri. Not sure if I'm pronounced that correctly, but nasty in the run game, still growing in the pass protection. I think also another guy is Ozzy Trapullo. Again, another day two guy, 6'8", monster, not light on his feet, but solid technique. And then another guy is, if I can find him, Charles Grant is another one that's very interesting out of William Mary. Small school sleeper, but a lot of scouts are intrigued with this guy. All right, so let's get through day two. Let's get through our day two picks. All right, so we went edge rusher here. Still got some decent edge rushers here. We also got Maxwell Harrison. We'll look at the wide receiver. I'm going to look at the corners. I'm going to look at the safeties. I'm going to look at D line here. And I'm also going to look at edge rusher and linebacker. All right. So I think for me, I'm very interested in taking Maxwell Harrison is very interesting to me. The CB out of Cal. Noel Williams is impressive. Yes. I like him in the later rounds. Probably an early fourth. What about Miles Frazier? Just thinking here. I'm thinking. I think for me here, I think that what I'm going to do is, I know this might be a reach. Some people may not like this, but I think just the way that this board fall, I think I'm going to take Jalen Knoll here. But with how deep this edge rushing room is, I think I'm going to take Braden Switson. I'm going to double up on the edge in the first two rounds. Give me Mike Green and give me Braden Swinson. Two highly productive edge rushers. And then you get your highly productive wide receiver in Jalen Knoll. That's something I could see us doing, especially if we trade back. All right, so now I got to pick for these guys. All right, who did I pick for the Browns real quick? Oh, this is the Giants. What else do you need? You need a corner. All right, well, there. Take Darian Porter. Browns, what do you need? I don't know why I picked two corners for you, but whatever. We'll give you Caleb Johnson. There you go. Let's see here. We'll give you Xavier Resposado. And then New England, you need a running back. You need a running back, Bo. There, Quinshawn Judkins. There you go. Jags, what do you need? Tight end. Here, take this. Or do you need a safety? What safety do you need? You want a safety? No, you can't have the safety. You can have a tight end. You can have this guy. You can have Elijah Aurora. Let's see what wide receivers we got. Okay, there you go. Savion Williams. There you go. All right, so my next pick here. Now we're basically still in day 2. Good Lord, man. This is where I have to go Andrew Makuba. I got to go Andrew Makuba. All right. Hold our food. You need an edge rusher. There you go. All right, trying to get through this real quick, guys. There. There you go. There. I'm just picking random people for these teams, guys. So bear with me for a second. Good Lord. I mean, okay. Well, I'm not going Harold Fannin. So, all right. So let's see here. So now we're basically in day 3. All right. We're in day 3, and we got 111 and 114. I think for me, it's between, I got to go D line here. Either it's D line, possibly not. I might wait. I think for me, day 3, guys, if I'm looking, Jacob Parrish is an interesting one. Undersized, but lightning fast. Another guy that's fantastic instincts, could be a diamond in the rough. I think also if he's still here. Quincy. Let's see. Where's another one? We're looking at corners wise. I don't know if he went. Quincy Riley's an interesting one. We visited with him. Again, you're talking about a guy who's long, physical, but raw. Panthers can mold him. I do like him as a day 3 target. Now, from a defensive standpoint, if we're looking at edge rusher or D line, Ty Robinson sticks out to me here. Also, JJ Pegas out of Ole Miss is very intriguing with him. Depth guys with upside, if coached right, yeah, for them. Like, I could also see in I've also heard rumors that Kyle Kennard could fall to the 4th round. You know, and Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina is a high motor, violent hands, criminally underrated in my opinion. Um, Again, if we were to go safety here, if we were guys like Jonas Sanker or Billy Bowman, I like him. Let's see if I can find anybody else. I think Shamar James is. I think he's corner, is he not? Shamar James. Let me see. I think another guy I like is Shamar James, linebacker out of Florida. I think it's another guy where maybe we could target. Young. I mean, Shamar James is young, fast, versatile, scream, special teams ace. A lot of upside there. I mean, if we're looking at a day 3 guy, the other day 3 guys, Jalen Lane, local product, could be a kick return value, could sneak into the wide receiver 3 role, long term maybe. If we're talking about running backs in this draft too, which I don't know if he's here or not. Looks like someone picked him up. Who picked up my guy? Let me see. Oh, Ollie Gordon. Yeah, I think Ollie Gordon's another day 3. Again, if Brooks isn't ready to go, which I don't think he's going to be, full steam ahead. Gordon can take the damn rock, run angry with it, right? Also, another guy, Carson Vinson, offensive tackle, or I think he's more of a guard, but freakish frame, raw technique, worth red shirt year. Some other guys like Drew Kendall out of Boston College, Caleb Rogers out of Tech. Those guys are some swing interior lineman, interior depth, right? But let's finish this draft out, man. We so far it looks pretty good. Mike Green, Jalen Noel, Braden Switson, Andrew Mukaba. Now looking at this board, man, I really like with the 111th pick, man. I really like right here for me to take Jacob Parrish with you. It's really in between Jacob Parrish for me and that's definitely for me. It's got to be Jacob Parrish. I don't see the linebacker I want here. Hmm. I think I'm gonna have to take my guy here. I'm gonna take Jacob Parrish. I like this pick. Jacob Parrish here. I don't need a safety. I got Andrew Mukaba. I got 2 edge rushers. I'm good there. Got my wide receiver. I'm thinking. There's a lot of D tackles, Paul. There's definitely a lot of D tackles in this draft class. A lot of very underrated draft D tackles in this draft class. I definitely need to look at some D tackles real quick. How are we looking on this right now? I'm not getting Pegs or Ty Robertson here. Cam Jackson's moving up. I'm not a Joshua Farmer. Peebles is interesting. Ty Hamilton's okay. Yeah, I mean, damn. How did Deion Walker fall that high? If Deion Walker fell that high, I might hold off. I mean, Mike Green, Jalen Noel, Braden Switson, and Andrew Mukaba, Jacob Parrish. I might hold off on Deion Walker. But Ty Robinson and JJ Pegas are intriguing prospects here. I mean, Gunnar Helm also at the tight end position is very interesting to me to get a tight end here. Let's see. I could also see Ty Hamilton falling, though. That's the thing. I could end up seeing Ty Hamilton fall. Let me look at the offensive tackles because, again, I want to find that successor. Logan Brown is interesting to be that successor for Taylor Moton. Might try to see if I can get him at the 146. Miles Frazier. Let's see, chat. Let's see. He's still there. Miles Frazier's still there for 128. Who are my tight ends that I could get on the back end, though, is the question. I guess I could get another one. I think for me here, I like JJ Pegas a lot, man. I like JJ Pegas better than I do Ty. Me personally, I just do. I think I'm gonna go JJ Pegas. I like Pegas. All right, so we're at. This is Tennessee. All right. What do y'all want? It's between wide receiver, edge, or running back. You need a wide receiver. Okay. Well, we'll give you who's the wide receiver available? Well, there you go. Tez Johnson. Jacksonville, what do you need? D-line, another defensive lineman. Okay. We'll give you Ty Robinson since I had to use these guys in the first 8 picks to make this draft at least somewhat. All right, so we're at 140 here. And so far, we've gone Mike Green, Jalen Noel, Braden Swinson, Andrew Mukaba, Jacob Parrish, and JJ Pegas. Next, I'm going to look at the tight ends. Mitchell Evans, Thomas Finna. Might go Jackson Hayes off the back end here. Look at OTs real quick. We got Logan Brown at 150. Might take him at 146. Running backs, we got Trevor Etienne. Bashul Tutin's still one of my guys. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take Logan Brown to be that successor Now I could take Chase Lunt too. Not opposed to taking Chase Lunt. Might wait to get him, and I might go ahead and what I might do is solidify my running back and my linebacker here. Cody Simons is still there. How Cody Simons is at 205 to me is beyond me from a linebacker standpoint. Is Samil Malden like gone? Who already picked him up? Damn, you're telling me Samil Malden already got picked? There's no way. There's no way. Gone. I don't know who picked him up then. Okay. All right, chat. Let's continue this here. Last and final mock draft. I'm really liking how this one is panned out. Mike Green, Jalen Knoll, Braden Switchin, Andrew Mukaba, Jacob Parrish, JJ Pegas. Okay. So we need a running back and we need an OT. I was going to go linebacker, but I think I'm going to go OT early. So I think I'm going to go Trevor Etienne. All right. And then, safety. Okay, there's your safety. What do you need? Quarterback. Okay, well, we'll give you. What do you need? Okay, we'll give you a quarterback. We'll give you Dylan Gabriel. I don't know. What do you need? Wide receiver? All right, there you go. You want another D lineman? Fine. There you go. All right, Trevor Etienne. Give me Logan Brown. I like that. So far, so good. What do you need? Inside lineman. Here, Seth. All right, Jets are up. We're just going through these real quick. What do y'all need? Interior. Offensive line. There you go. All right, so Logan Brown now. I'm going to take. Here's where I'm going to try to take my tight end. It's between. And what linebackers do we have left? See you, Clay. I'm tired. I feel you, brother. Have a good evening. I think I'm going to go Mitchell Evans here. I think he's the best tight end on the board here. All right, what do y'all need real quick, Tennessee? You need a running back? All right, we'll get you a running back. Here you go. What do you need? Interior? All right, there you go. What do you need? Another safety? Jesus. Okay, there you go. What do you need? Safety, Jesus. All right, give me a second here, guys. Trying to finish this up for this final mock draft. Trying to finish this up so then we can get into the other stuff tonight. There you go. I mean, this is ridiculous. Trying to get through these for this final draft. Okay, here. Just take your last guys, man. I just built you a whole new offensive line. Jesus, man. There you go. There you go. How many more picks do you have? There you go. There you go. Jesus. Don't ever do this. All right, there you go. All right, finally. So we can get this finished product out of here. I'm going to finish it up with hopefully my linebacker that I want, but he's not here. So it's going to end up being JDJ to finish it out. Here you go. I'll take the Efton Chisholm, the sleeper of all sleepers in the wide receiver room. What do y'all want? Quarterback. There you go. There's your 7th round quarterback. What do y'all need? Safety. If there's any fucking left. There you go. Nice. Either way, came out pretty good. Can't be mad about it. Can't be mad about it. That was a pretty good mock draft. So I have to go back. I'll have to go back and redo it. I'll redo it, and I'll make sure I get it right. But that is the final mock draft. I will make sure we put it up on the screen here in a second. I have to go back with PFF and redo it for you guys. I'll get it posted. I'll do the same thing like I did this one. And I'll get the same people. Probably. Possibly. Not sure. We'll see. All right, let's get into some other stuff, man. All right. So that was fun. I gave you my pre-draft. We did the big board, giving you my 3. But here's the thing. There are some guys that we need to talk about here, though, tonight. Because there is this versus thing like going on between like Michael Williams and Jalen Walker. There has been like this thing going back and forth. Okay, where we're because here's the thing with the Carolina Panthers, man. We're sitting at a crossroads right now where it's interesting because it's like who should they target? And you'll see, I'm about to share my screen right now as to what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm going to share my screen as to what I'm talking about right now. And it has to do with this. Now, there's reports out there that, you know, we're in a bit of a dilemma here. It's swirling around these 2 defensive Georgia guys that can that I do think that these guys can be difference makers. But I mean, we're talking about Jalen Walker, we're talking about Michael Williams. Both immensely talented, both impactful players, but very different in their path to the NFL. Now, we all know that Jalen Walker is the versatile Swiss Army knife linebacker, right? The guy's a total beast. You're talking about a guy who's standing at 6'2", 245 pounds. Walker's everything the Panthers need on defense, which I do think, right? Like I think Jahad Campbell's a better player, but he's also just as a fit as Jalen Walker is, right? But if we're talking about Jalen Walker, the versatility and the skill set he does bring is something we do need on this team. So don't get me wrong there. I just think that Jahad Campbell is the same type of player, just more explosive, and his tape just jumps off more to me. But y'all know how I feel. Now, here's the thing. Guys like Jahad Campbell and Jalen Walker are guys who I do believe is everything we need on this defense. What I mean by that is you need versatility, violent, able to make plays over the field, right? Jalen Walker, you go look at his statistics. He put up over 60 tackles, 6.5 sacks. But honestly, those numbers don't even tell the whole story. What makes it such about him a valuable prospect is that he's just not another linebacker. He's a chess piece. Walker can rush a passer. He can set the edge against the run, drop into coverage. And let me tell you, the Panthers linebacker has been, I mean, our linebackers have been, let's just say less than impressive in recent years when it comes to coverage. So you're adding a guy like Walker would be a game changer. He's got the size and athleticism to fly from sideline to sideline, take on blockers, still make plays. The only thing, though, is that he's not perfect. Technique does need some work. He's still trying to figure out the best position, but his raw talent is undeniable. I think if the Panthers are looking for a guy who can step in on day one, have an immediate impact while also growing into a long-term cornerstone for that defense, Walker's the pick. And so if you go look at Bleacher Report, because this is from Bleacher Report, and you go look at their rankings, Bleacher Report has him ranked around 11th overall. So if he's there at 8, it's not much of a reach. I mean, this is the type of player you could start to possibly reshape the identity of your defense, right? Um, I think that Jalen Walker does have that ability. It's just not going to be a plug and play, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to take time, right? I do think he brings the nastiness that we do need, right? We need that guy that can give us that bite. And don't forget, like our linebacker room is currently filled with a bunch of mad players. Besides, I think I do like Trey. I mean, I think Wallace, again, he's still young. Definitely stepped up for us last year as a rookie. But Walker could immediately become the most talented guy on our defense, hands down, if he develops correctly. Right. On the Michael Williams side, you're looking at a guy who's raw with high upside. That's what you're looking at. Like, I'll tell you this. Like, I think Michael Williams is a guy, it's a bit of a mystery for him. Like, you're talking about a guy who's 6'5", 265. I mean, Williams is that prototype for an edge rusher. He has the long frame, that explosive first step, flashes of elite pass rushing ability. He's recorded 14 sacks across 3 years at Georgia. You know, not mind blowing numbers, but still is solid when you watch his tape and you see the potential. Quick swim moves, great bend, violent hands, right? But this is the big but for me for Michael Williams is he's inconsistent. He has some real high points, but also disappears from stretches and games and it's just not ideal for me, especially for a top 10 pick, especially considering, it's not like you have Brian Burns on this team. You need a guy who can get after the quarterback. Williams is best. That's what he's best at. And he could do that, but he is still raw. He's going to need time. We're going to have patience for a guy like Michael Williams. You're going to need some solid coaching to fully develop Michael Williams into a star. So for me, I mean, I think this is the thing. If the Panthers take a shot on Michael Williams, it's a high risk, high reward situation. There's no denying his upside, but the Panthers have to be sure they can develop him into what he could become. That's where the coaching staff comes in. But if the Panthers continue to flip-flop coaches, that could hinder the kid's growth. This could be a boom or bust scenario. I think the problem is that Carolina doesn't have that luxury of a long development cycle. We all know they need someone who can step right in. Now, the big picture here is that Carolina's defense is a disaster. We know that. You guys in the chat know that. Everybody knows that. Let's zoom out for a second, though, and look at the bigger picture here, because the Panthers defense, if you go look at it last season, right? Historically bad. They were dead last in both yards allowed per game and points allowed. And I mean dead last. Complete dumpster fire. This wasn't just bad play. This was a defense that couldn't get off the field, couldn't stop the run, couldn't cover a damn thing. It doesn't matter if Bryce Young throws 5,000 yards. If you're giving up 30 points per game, you're going to lose every time. So to me, what does it mean for the draft? It means defense is the only logical choice at number 8 for me. Yes, the Panthers possibly could use a successor for Taylor Moton. Yes, they need playmakers at wide receiver. But defense wins championships, or at least it keeps you from getting embarrassed every week. Carolina's defense needs a complete overhaul. Both Walker and Williams could be key pieces of that rebuilding process. But here we are. I mean, if the Panthers want a defensive cornerstone who can contribute immediately, be a leader on that side of the ball, Jalen Walker is the obvious choice. His versatility, his toughness, he can plug into multiple spots on the field. A true asset to a defense that has been lacking playmakers for far too long. If they're feeling bold and they believe they can develop a guy into a star, then Michael Williams is a tempting pick. He has the tools, but he's going to need time. It's a gamble. I think one thing is clear that Carolina can't afford to miss on this pick. They've spent years whiffing on drafts before, besides, I would say, last year. I think we saw a lot of potential in a lot of our players last year. But it's time to change. They need someone who can come in and step in right now and help this defense. They don't need a project. They need an immediate impact. You just got to choose wisely. And because the decision, it's going to it could make or break your future, right? You know, it could. It could. That's all I'm going to say. All right, let's get into this next topic. Next topic is this. There's rumors that some people in the league circles believe that the Lions might trade Jameson Williams. Well, isn't that a coinkydink? Okay. Bryce Young, a guy who could completely change the trajectory of this offense, right? We're talking about a guy who's already been there with Bryce Young who could completely change the trajectory of that offense. Jameson Williams. Could the Panthers finally give Bryce a real weapon? I think this is interesting because we've seen Bryce. This was Bryce's number one guy at Alabama. Now, the Carolina Panthers, listen, our receiver room, I'll be honest with you guys, isn't a total disaster. All right. You know, you're rolling with Xavier Leggett, again, injuries, a lot of potential. The size, the speed, everything is there. Guys works his ass off. You see it. You see a lot of offseason videotape right now. Jalen Coker, a lot of potential there, undrafted. David Moore, reliable, but not so much. Very inconsistent. A lot of drops. Adam Thielen, you know, Mr. Reliable. So, I mean, you know, you can't rely on Adam Thielen any longer, especially at his age. He's on the fast track to retirement. Hell, he's getting there, but the Eagles could be interested in trading for him, apparently. But besides Adam Thielen in this wide receiver room, no offense to Leggett or Jalen Coker, and I'd even say David Moore. I mean, a lot of these guys are just unproven guys, and the two rookies from last year, rightfully so. Right? If you go, you know Bryce Young was your number one overall pick in 2 years ago. You're trying to develop him with essentially no weapons at receiver, which down the stretch, granted, we did hold our own with the top dogs, but we just saw too many inconsistencies. Bryce Young came back and showed his finally that potential we've been waiting for. And we're not talking about a luxury here. We're talking about just Bryce Young needs a wide receiver one. Someone he can trust, someone who can stretch the field, keep defenses honest. What he's got right now, I'm not sure is going to cut it. Can Xavier Leggett and develop into a wide receiver one? I think there's definitely a lot of potential there for sure. I think Xavier could possibly be that guy who stretches the fields and keeps defenses honest. But what we've seen right now is not cutting it. All right. But then you bring in a guy like you enter in Jameson Williams here. Okay. And I know some of you are probably might be wondering who the hell this guy is or why the Panthers should care. I'll tell you this: Jameson Williams isn't just some maybe he'll work out kind of guy. Again, the dude's fast. We're talking about 4.3 speed, one of the quickest wideouts in the league, a guy who can turn any deep ball into a touchdown. And here's the kicker: Bryce Young and Jameson Williams, for all you guys that may not know, already have chemistry. If you go watch that at Alabama during the 2021 season, those two were electric together. Bryce Young won that Heisman that year. He threw for over 4,800 yards, 47 touchdowns. Who was his favorite target? Jameson Williams. That guy was unbelievable. Jameson Williams in that year had over like 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns just in one season. They were the most dangerous quarterback wide receiver combo in college football. And I'm telling you, that combination was filthy. Absolutely filthy. All right. So why the Lions might be willing to trade Williams, apparently, in my opinion, I'm gonna just say this. So we know how dangerous Williams can be, right? Now the big question is why the hell would Detroit want to trade him? You know, the Lions are an NFL caliber team. Williams was a major part of their offense, believe it or not. The reality is that the Lions are in a good spot, but that also means they have some tough decisions ahead. Williams is entering in that final year of his rookie contract. They've got to decide whether to pick up that fifth-year option, which would be worth around about $15 million. Now, let's be real here. The Lions have an embarrassment of riches on offense. They've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got a solid run game and Jahmyr Gibbs. Now they even looking at wide receivers in the draft. They've even hosted Matthew Golden out of Texas recently. I'm telling you, that's not just fun. It's because they could be planning a future without Jameson Williams. Now, this is an opportunity here, because this is where the rubber meets the road for the Panthers. The opportunity to trade for Jameson Williams is there. I'm going to be blunt with you. I think the Panthers can't afford to maybe not, because here's the thing. As much as I like Jalen Noel in the second round, or maybe getting T-Mac in the first, or maybe getting a Matthew Golden and Luther Burden or Mecca Ibuka, but this is the time for them to make some big moves to surround their young quarterback with some actual talent. I also like the fact that these guys played together, and I think that may be taking me over other guys that I've even mentioned. You trade for Williams would likely cost the Panthers a day 2 pick, probably a second or third, and maybe even a player. I don't know. But let's be honest. If they're serious about developing Bryce, they got to make a trade like this. Here's why. No one on this current roster is going to do it. Not saying that maybe, again, Xavier Legette or Coker down the road, again, develops. But again, you also got to think about it this way. Thielen's too old. Okay? Williams is the guy who can come in, open up this offense. He's proven he can get open deep. He's proven he can be a game changer. I just need to see if the Panthers take a risk. Like, I think the Panthers, you have to be willing to take risk in this game. Like, if you want to be relevant again, if they want Bryce Young to have a shot at success, they can keep playing it safe. They need to go out, get Jameson Williams. It's a risk. Hell yeah, it's a risk, but it's a calculated one. And if they don't do it, what's the alternative? Well, then you get somebody in the second round. But again, I just think at some point you have to stop worrying about the future and start developing the guy you've already committed to. Right? We have to stop pretending, especially when we're in this rebuild mode, and we got to start helping our future quarterback succeed. That's all I'm saying. That's the bottom line to me. That's the bottom line to me. That is the bottom line. So, again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, live watch party Thursday night. It's already up. Go check it out. 7:30 EST. I'll be live 7:30 EST because I don't think the draft starts till 8, right? Pretty sure it starts at 8. Yep. Don't start till 8 p.m. EST. So I will be going live at 7:30 EST Thursday. We got a special episode tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you guys about it yet. You're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Got a special episode with a special guest, who's a good friend of mine. So, again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss any new content. Again, this is the most important draft for the Carolina Panthers in a half a decade. The margin for error is near zero. Dan Morgan doesn't have the luxury of learning of a learning curve here. Panthers need plug and play players right now, foundational talent. They need long-term answers. They need to get Bryson number 1 wide receiver. Not another year bargain bin retreats. All right. Not these, well, maybe if he develops projects. Make the picks, land the dogs, fix the broken roster because we all know we're done with it. We all know that we are done with it. Guys, drop your thoughts in the chat below. Leave a comment. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe if you want more Panthers content. And of course, we're going to continue. I'm going to continue to be live every day this week. But that's all I've got today, folks. Let me know what you think again in the comments. Do you want to see the Panthers, make that move for Jameson Williams? Who should they stay at number 8? If they stay at number 8, who should they pick? If they don't stay at number 8, should they move up? Should they trade down? Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. Also, by the way, if they stay at 8 and if it's between Michael Williams or Jalen Walker, drop your thoughts below as well. Don't forget again. So again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Again, if you want more Panthers content or NFL content. Again, I appreciate everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Let's hope the Panthers make the right choice at number 8. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, keep pounding. Peace.